Bill of 2024, because in essence, it is meant to just add, flash to the bonds of the IBC Amendment Act of 2023. But I still insist that the two extra slots from 7 the people, because sovereign was technically withdrawn. The mace is the symbol of authority, in parliament. Reckless killings of our people. I mean, through the pilferage of our resources, through the economic genocide perpetrated by the powers that be, then what we can do is to talk about divorce. So it is a cruel marriage, and let's talk about divorce. So if we have this power that we've delegated to all these people, be it in the judiciary, be it in the executive, be it in the legislature, that power can always be taken back. And by the powers being of coercion, and that will mean beginning with the legislative framework. So once this bill has been, has been signed into law, okay, and I hope they will give a commencement date to be sooner. Perhaps if we were to do what is easy, then we will perhaps succumb to the pressure of nominating our people, selectively, perhaps not to speak for us, but just to fill that particular void. If we are doing what is right, it means it's us who have that power. Then let them come to center our voice around, to fight for until they're actually enacted. So I think I've addressed the legislative and legal framework of the implications. Just if the right, he talked about at least not before the first 24 months of any existing tenure of a member of parliament. Okay, so the three-judge bench that gave us that particular, landmark decision 6 years ago, what they intended to do is to just try to remove the disproportionate, as you all know, elections are done every second Tuesday of August, every fifth year. So if IBC, because I don't trust the capability of the IBC secretariat to bestow upon Marjan Hussein Marjan or any CEO of IBC, of the CEO, the secretariat can do. No. I mean, there's something called the capacity to handle, any task or any form of work that is on our table. So with that to address, unless
be reading it because I don't have any legal knowledge or anything pertaining the law, but as of yesterday, I was passing through the constitution space. I don't know if it's a. I was checking about the viable options, and I was checking if we can the best way forward. The space is without the what next without the IBC, because I was seeing if he resigns, Gachagua can take over. If we decide to match with the state house, there will be no IBC to conduct elections, and might be the military may take over, and so much on. So for anyone coming, you can ask about the function of the IBC in all these Ruta must go movement, and now it was derailed. And okay, I have one question. Maybe one of the speakers can answer. And for those people requesting the mic, it's only a space for lawyers. Kindly, please, if you're a lawyer, you can just DM me and I'll add you. But for the other people, you might just listen to them. I'm just hosting. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just hosting for them to clarify this matter to us. So there is someone asking, please ask the panelists for their opinion on our bill repealing all unconstitutional acts so far passed in parliament can be drafted quickly, and who could spearhead such a draft. Another one is, how can we speed up drafting bills required to fully operationalize the 2010 Kenyan Constitution? Three, I hope I'm not very fast. Can a bill be passed not allowing illiterate person to be eligible for parliamentary seat? It's proven that they cannot read. Somebody like Sudi, I can just mention somebody like Sudi. And let me ask, there's somebody who also asked it said the question, the speaker on clarity about the mess that was taken. He said the legitimacy of the Parliament House has been taken away as power is given to them. So when they return, will they be right to continue sessions? And did the National Assembly signing for deployment of let me ask the last question. And the lawyers help us draft the recall bills and send them to Parliament. We have friends in Parliament and we can push a rest to vote for it. And let me ask one last question. Some Somebody had asked something, just a little bit. Okay, great conversation. What next is the question. I agree with the land friends. I guess we need to pull towards the constitution of IBC and the movement included. That's somebody just giving an opinion. If the military take over, for how long do we have to constitute IBC and all new elections? I read somewhere 3 months, but I am not sure about it. Maybe you can clarify. Another one, does it mean that IBC cannot be constituted in the next 30 days? Because we were so concerned about the momentum of the movement, because as we know, Ruto can derail these movements using time. He can use the I can use the Russia and the Germany scenario in the World War. He knows how to use time for his advantage, because the NADCO report has actually derailed for a whole year, and we most of the people were concerned about these issues. So does it mean that IBC cannot be constituted the next, like if the parliament comes back after the recess, can it not be the first order of the house to reconstitute the IBC? That's another question. And one last one, do we need any percentage the former IBC, or can be sent all packing home? So I hope all you have taken one or two questions, then maybe you can help me answer. Anyone can go ahead kindly.
Kimuzi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I'll tackle three questions, and then my colleagues perhaps will tackle the rest. I was just taking notes. The first question, yes, this is a very good initiative, because for a long time, when the citizens and especially the young people have not really been, concerned with what has been going on, Parliament has been passing anti-citizen laws. Sometimes it's because of a brown envelope, sometimes it's because of their own selfish interest. And yes, with a framework, we can constitute a committee to review all these existing statutes, all these existing laws, and then initiate a bill or several bills to repeal all anti-citizen laws, or all laws that are oppressive to the people, and especially the ones that oppress the people while conferring benefits to the politicians. So that one is completely possible, but there has to be a structured way of doing it. And it is possible because Parliament is not bound. It can make and repeal laws. So that is good. Number two, I will just talk about the military question. And the question of the military taking over presents only one danger. It is not anticipated in our constitution that at any point the military takes over. And it might sound like a good idea on paper, but the problem is, once we get there, we have stepped outside of the constitution. And when you step outside of the constitution, there's no telling how far out of the constitution we will go. We may have military taking over, and then they decide they don't ever want to give power back to the civilians. What happens now? So that is why for good corporate governance, to ensure that at least the people who come in, they don't all come in as green people who have no idea what's happening. There's at least someone to tell people that this is the work we have been doing, this is how we have been doing it, and these are the plans that we have moving forward?
Gold mace for about 30 million shillings. So you can see how much taxpayers' money, part of what we call a parliamentary regalia. Okay, all assembly or even the Senate, it gives it the much needed credence. It's symbolic when I draw all of delegated power, to the National Assembly. So, because the moment that mace would have been withdrawn, then Parliament should actually be dissolved. And Parliament should be dissolved now on two bases. One, by failing, perhaps to represent, because the powers of the legislature is to, oversight, to represent, power that the Constitution espouses on the powers, who was the Speaker, J.B. Muturi. So Maraga wrote to Parliament to given to any parliamentary proceedings without a mace technically should not even take place. But the fact, men and women in uniform, from the
Patrick,
barracks.
if they say that the mace that was taken is not the original mace, how do you, like, moving forward, what do you say, having in mind that fact that they said what was taken was not the original mace? So you see right now, Nile, hearsay, they're treating it as hearsay. They want to dismiss it from the view of the common citizens. Can you also shed light on that?
Thanks, Diana. Well, for me, the authenticity or lack thereof of the mace, whether it was original or whether it was just a replica, for me that is irrelevant and immaterial. What matters is it was taken from the House of Parliament. So that is where the debate should actually be centered around. So at the end of the day, as long as it was taken within the precincts of Parliament and inside the chambers, then that is what we should be working with. And at the end of the day, that only means that we, the people, withdraw our delegated power because they have been misusing, they have been abusing, they have been defiling, our own delegated power, all a day, while someone else is, chest thumping, on this particular Twitter streets or X street, that they can do whatever they want with our money, with our resources. For me, that is where the imbalance starts. Because at the end of the day, we are the people, paying these people to do work, but they fail to do that particular work. The power that we have been donating to all these people, not just directly through elections every second Tuesday of August, every fifth year, but equally indirectly through